What's up, guys? The tier list maker I was using now has the ability to add and remove tiers, so I'm just going to make a quick update to my battleship tier list, which benefits the most from this change. First, I moved UVH, FDG, and New Jersey down to S-. Next, I added Dyson to the A tier in front of Flandre. I have not maxed out Dyson yet, but she is a very straightforward ship. She has a single target focused barrage which deals high, consistent damage to light armor enemies, and her damage against medium and heavy armor enemies isn't bad either. It is a bit lower, but still easily competitive with the best gold battleships. The reason that she is ahead of Flandre is because she catches up to Flandre's damage with preload pretty fast, about 2 salvos in, and that's only assuming Flandre's preload doesn't miss due to the enemy moving at the start of the battle. She is still a tier under New Jersey though, because New Jersey's damage against all 3 armor types is more balanced, meaning her damage against medium and heavy in particular are quite a bit higher than Dyson's, and New Jersey also has spread reduction, which is quite important, especially for off-flag battleships who can't afford to have multiple sources of external spread reduction. As for Aurori, I just stuck her at the end of A tier because I think she's stronger than Tamaki, but weaker than Dyson and Flandre. I added the A star tier for the faction buffers to denote that they're not as strong as the A tiers, but I would personally much rather have them for the different playstyles they enable than the B tiers. I also separated the big 7s into B-. They are the gatekeepers of the tier list. I left out West Virginia because she's not as good as the others in campaign mobbing, which is where they shine. As for the to-be-determined ships, most of them are not relevant in single target contexts, so it's impossible to evaluate them without trying them out. What I'm planning to do is to run each of them in Chapter 14.4, with a consistent but not particularly strong fleet, to try to let them carry as much as possible. The fleets are not strong enough to actually consistently spawn the boss, and the data is quite inconsistent and reliable, but I think mobbing battleships are most relied upon in Chapter 14. I'll have to resort to observations of the footage to see where exactly they excel, and in what areas they're lacking. This process will take quite a long time. Next, I want to share some of the data that I've been sitting on. First up is Tashkent's unique augment. I did manage to test her out before my Vanguard tier list and left her off deliberately. First, I tested her at level 120 compared to L'Indomptable and Z47, and she appeared to be quite obviously stronger than both, so I leveled her to 125 and tested her alongside Kawakaze. I gave Tashkent the plus 13 Mogador gun, and then Kawakaze the plus 13 quad mags, as well as 1 Oxytorp. In my opinion, if one ship has much better scaling with Oxytorp than another, it should be considered as a benefit. I could have given Tashkent some auxiliary that gave her 20 firepower or so, but I don't think it would have closed the gap. Neither of these destroyers are particularly bulky, even after Tashkent got an evasion rate buff from her unique augment, so I don't put too much weight into their survivability. If you disagree with my evaluation of the data, that's fine. It's normal for people to draw different conclusions from the same data, and there are a lot more factors that I consider past their head-to-head damage. For example, the fact that Kawakaze's damage is more reliable and completely ignores hit shields, and the fact that Tashkent's buff is a lot less valuable because Northern Parliament destroyers are the last ships that need extra main gun efficiency and accuracy. Next up is Watarase. I first tested her against Fargo, both at level 120 and without Oath. Watarase ended up pulling double the damage of Fargo, so I switched to testing my level 120 unoathed Watarase against my level 125 oathed Harbin instead. Obviously, Harbin has an enormous advantage with her higher level and affection, but Watarase was quite easily keeping up, and by the end, winning pretty significantly over Harbin despite the handicaps. I think at level parity, Watarase would thump Harbin pretty hard in damage. There's also one other thing that's kinda neat about Watarase. If you're using Musashi with a twin blue gun, obviously Musashi's gun damage will be quite a bit lower, but if you combo that with Watarase, Watarase's barrage will more than make up for the loss of damage from the gun, making it not only a fun, but likely potent combo. I think low A tier is probably appropriate for her. I would definitely take her over Harbin if I was just looking for some extra damage in campaign. Once I level her to 125, I'll do some comparisons between her and Bayard. Anyway, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed, and see you in the next one.